Hello, and welcome back, everyone. Hopefully, my mic is working here. Let's see if it is. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. And if you can't, it's going to be another fun day. But it looks like everything is going well here. I hope it's all going well. Yep, it's all going well. Everything looks good on my end. So let's make sure that you guys can hear me. So if you can, please just let me know in the comments section. And if you can't, I'm sure you're going to start saying stuff soon. But right now, to me, it looks like everything is working just fine. Just give the stragglers a few minutes here. This is scheduled for 2 o'clock. So let's see if it's going well. Hi, I can hear you. Excellent, Beerman. Excellent. How are you, Beerman? Hope you're doing well. All right, so we got sound. Excellent. Much better than yesterday already then. Fantastic. Oh. All right. So we got some big moves today so far. Pretty crazy, actually. Fine, thanks. That's good to hear, sir. Good to hear. I got Finn. Don't worry. I understand. Finn. Finn and fine. We got an interesting little gap here on Bitcoin, which you don't see very often on the 1 minute chart. It's kind of wild. So let's get into this then. What do we have going on here so far today? Well, once again, previous day's close. Big level, also known as the daily open on the Bitcoin, but we've taken it. We've also done a sweep of the Asia highs, and we got pretty mixed news here at 1:30 came out. So retail figures came out, retail sales. Month on month, they look okay, and core retail sales don't look okay. So mixed messages on the retail sales, but it seems to be affecting the markets relatively positively. We got a big volume spike there on the NASDAQ 130 right off of the Asia low. So looking all right there, and let's see how this plays out. Pretty interesting on the NASDAQ today. We gapped up a huge 300 point gap. So this is one of those days where your previous day's levels, they're still pretty important here, but it's going to be a little bit trickier to read today because we might not come down and hit anything, right? And so this is the importance of understanding what's going on within the sessions, right? This is why I always mark out my sessions. Let me get rid of this noise here. All right. So as far as the NASDAQ is concerned, yeah, it's just going to be kind of a sit around and wait, see what happens, what New York decides. There's a very interesting bit of price action right here. I know that's on the 1 minute chart, so a little bit of a tough one, but anyone who is looking at the NASDAQ, you've got this golden pocket right up here, and we've already got the green pocket holding up. So watch for that. That's what I'm going to be looking for. Again, on Bitcoin, we've now done a double sweep of the highs. So we could be looking for another day of up movement here. Let's see if we can go get this previous day's high. Everything looks good so far for that. Again, we didn't come down and test yesterday's open. We just skirted around the previous day's close and then finally broke above it. So everything's looking good for Bitcoin. As long as we can come up and punch these highs, that would be fantastic news. Break the opening week's range, right? That Monday range. So that looks fantastic. ETH, it's looking pretty okay. So we've got some serious resistance here that we ran into yesterday. Pretty good reaction off of it, but it didn't really dump too much, so that's not a bad sign. And now we're holding the previous day's open and the previous day's close levels. So as long as we can stay above here and make a test for the previous day's high, everything should be all right. All right, this zone down here again, very interesting. Really, really interesting if we get our fib pulls going on it now. This is the kind of stuff that take this down to the 1 hour here real quick. So right now we've got that golden pocket from the low to the high sitting right in there. And if we take it from the Tuesday low, we're way above it, but inside of this little fair value gap zone here on the 1 hour chart. So there's a lot of interesting little spots here on the ETH that we could get a pullback to. But I'm hoping that price really just keeps going, moving on up here. Disable. Get that out of here. All right. Yep, that's ETH in a nutshell now. Just really got to see. It's going to be very interesting to see how today and tomorrow play out and see if we can establish our initial balance for the week and then break it to either side, which I'm pretty sure we can. Interesting that on Friday we had that inside bar, and then Monday we make the big move up here. So let's see how this plays out. It's gonna be interesting. Definitely interesting. Sol also was looking like it was ready to make a big move there on the 1 hour, but then it got a little bit sidetracked here. So let's see what's going on with the Sol. But it would be real nice. Oh yeah, I deleted everything so that we can chart this up together. It really does look like it should be going higher than it is, but let's see how this plays out. We'll talk about this shortly. Here's our weekly chart that we're all looking at. Good old Sol. Atom. And again now, Atom's come down and swept the previous day's low. All right, we'll bring this down to a 15-minute chart. We can get a better idea of how this has played out. Okay, so relatively early, took trade at Golden Pocket right now and stopped out on Sol. Oh, Golden Pocket right now. You took the short? Was that what you did? Did you take the short? No. Maybe. No. And what time frame was that? 1 minute? Golden Pocket on the 1 minute. All right, so let's talk about that. Is this the right low here? I'm not really sure. Maybe that's the low. Took the long. So if it was from this low, then you would have been stopped out by now. That was a few minutes ago. And there's a bit of a problem. If this was the long you took, then I have a bit of a problem with it. It's that there's not much liquidity. All right, so you've got this, oh, he said Sol. I'm looking at Adam. Sorry, guys, my bad. I sent screen. All right. Okay, so Sol, 1 minute chart long. All right. Yeah, that's a tough one to get stopped out on. Fair value gap, golden pocket. Oh, all right. So you put your stop loss just below the golden pocket, I'm guessing? Like right below it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a bit of a tough one because I probably would have taken that long right there as well. Right there, but then you'd have to put your stop loss below this low. So over here, there's not much that I'd be looking to trade off of. Price hits into it, you just get an inside bar, a doji, another inside bar, then you get an outside bar, almost an engulfing, but not quite. So that's a bit of a tough one right there. But that is a great looking level, right at the bottom of that fair value gap. You know, you got to kind of keep a couple things in mind when you're looking at these, all right? So I get a lot of people like to limit order in. That's why I don't limit order in. So this candle right here, this candle right here, that's what we call the origin candle, right? Of this big pump up fair value gap. So you can see that it's kind of chilled out, small little candles, and then you get this runaway, breakaway fair value gap. So you really need to be aware of these little zones here right underneath it, all right? So it could get front run, it could get slightly hit into, and that's why I always like to wait for reaction. What's going on, Bruno West? Good to see you. But honestly, I would have gotten in trouble on that one myself right here. But then my stop loss would have had to be below this candle here. And now it looks like they're maybe putting in a little W here. All right, so this is a great setup. I would agree with that. Let's take a peek at, just put in a little more info into here. Hey. Oh, so you got your value area high right there as well. All right, now it's a bit of a, it's still a great, it's a great zone, I gotta say. I like it for the long, but the this value area makes it a little bit sketchy, I would say. You might start to get a breakdown into the fair value area and then start to move on down, maybe to test the daily point of control. Probably not that low, but let's mark some of this stuff out here and get to the bottom of this. Get to the bottom. How's my sound, everyone? Sounds okay? Hope there's no clicking in the background, no nonsense. Okay, so let's just ship this on out to the daily chart. Okay, so it's a pretty crazy looking day on Sol. We've now swept the previous day's low and the previous day's high, which means this really could go either way here. really could. Let's pop up the previous day's low here. Previous day's high. Previous day's open. And of course, the previous days. Oh, you hear a small echo. All right, I'll take care of that echo. And previous day's close, which is also our daily open. All right. Yeah, we do have to do some adjustments later. Yes, sir. Okay, so that's what we're looking at in terms of our previous day's levels, right? So now, even on the 15-minute chart, this does look like a decent level, right? But we've now swept the previous day's high after we already took the previous day's low. It might make you want to question how scalpable this zone is for longs. And we're right on that previous day's open. So let's just get back down to the 1 minute here and take a peek at this golden pocket once again. All right, so as good as it looks, that's not the best place to be looking for a long. All right. Because again, we've swept the previous day's high after we've already swept the previous day's low. So it's a bit of a one of those uncommon days where both previous days extremes have been taken out, but then you get below the previous day's open and you take that long. That's sort of what you're running into, all right? And let's dive into this a little bit more here. And we'll just map this out. So I did have a question about the why I do the day boxes and why I look at my session ranges as well, right? Which is a valid question. But if you're going to ask me a question in the in my DMs, please just post it in the group chat, all right? So make a nice little folder here, keep everything organized. The trade is nor good because previous day open is resistance. Not only that, it's also because we've just swept the previous day's high and it's coming down. So this is one reason why the trade is a little bit of a tough call here, all right? You might have been able to get in for a scalp, right? That would have been about it, all right? So when you see it hitting the previous day's open level, and I mean, it rejects off it to the, well, no, doesn't quite touch it, but it's very close. Very, very close. You might want to get that stop loss up or get out real quick. Now I understand that move would have been tiny, but so let's say somewhere around there. Me, I would have gotten in right around there. So 0.25%. That's pretty much not worth taking profit on, but maybe shore up the stop loss a little bit into break even. But yeah, I would have only been looking at that as a scalp personally. Let me just, keep that hidden. So the reason, I mean, if you look at the NASDAQ, exactly what's happening today, right? There's no previous day's levels that I can play off of on the NASDAQ futures today because we gapped up 300 points. All right, so everything that I am basing my sort of storyline on and what I'm looking for ideas today is going to be based on my Asia sessions and my London opening range sweeps. All right, comes back in, holds. You can start looking to get in longs. All right, up to the Asia high, comes back down, re-sweeps the Asia low, puts in a sweep of its own low, London, and potential reset W formation here. I mean, it's kind of a crazy looking thing, but it could definitely play out. Who knows? So getting back to Seoul, and there goes the dump. Like we could definitely revisit the previous day's low now, all right? Let me just get this set up here then. And I'm not saying it's not a good trade, right? It's a great zone. Like I would have had trouble not taking that. It's like I took the same trade this morning on the NASDAQ, the exact same setup, fair value gap with a golden pocket. But it was also somewhat in a troubling spot there. All right, and I took it regardless. I didn't take a loss on it, but I only squeaked 5 points out. And that was it. So we can go over that again. I know I posted about it in the, maybe that was in the VIP section I posted it, but we'll talk about it. Because it's really kind of the exact same thing. Okay, so let's just try to make some sense of this here. Okay, so here is Asia opening range. Make sure I got that right. Certainly do. I don't need to mark that out because I have my previous day's close. Okay. So after sweep previous day's high, it's better not to long such area. That could be, that's very open to interpretation, but we'll talk about it. We'll definitely address it, all right? Opening range London. And now we've got our Asia high and our Asia low. Old habits die hard. All right. So pretty huge. So our previous day's levels. Crypto Yark. All right. All right, buddy. Okay. So when we take this sweep of the previous day's low right away on Asia, there is a huge chance, all right? It's over 80% chance that we're not going to go up and hit these previous days highs, all right? But today we do it. So today is one of those 20% days, which is a bit of an anomaly, right? So we've already swept the low, we come up, we sweep the high. And if we look at the reaction that's happening, it's not a huge reaction. We get one touch, price rejects. We get a second touch, not much. And it just kind of wicks into it a little bit, and then you get a very nice candle to the downside, and you get a pretty controlled move down. So be a little bit tough to get in a short here as well. You'd have to be looking at price action or maybe EMAs, something like the 20 EMA here. And there it is. So that big dump candle hits below the 20 EMA, price then tries to get back above it, but it can't. So that's pretty much your signal there for the short. And then we're just riding it all the way down, right? So when we hit into this golden pocket, I guess that was the first hit there. Let me just make sure. Oh, there's your first hit there. You've got to be pretty aware of the fact that we are rejecting off of the previous day's high, and it looks like a little bit of a swing failure pattern happening, right? Now we're maybe finding some support down here at the 886 and in this fair value gap. But I totally understand why you would take this trade. It is quite tempting. I would also be quite tempted at that. But having said that, now there's a big possibility that we're just really going to range for the rest of the day. We might come back down here and test the Asia high still. We got to see what New York's going to do, obviously. And we're about 9 minutes away from that, 8 minutes away from that right now. But yeah, it would have been a real tough spot to take that trade because you've got the previous day's open and because you've already swept the liquidity from the upside. So we're going to be coming down to take liquidity somewhere from around here, right? So it could be here, it could be here. That's what we're going to be searching for. So definitely a tough one. I probably would have taken that as well, but squeaked a quick tiny scalp off of that. If I had been watching the EMAs, I likely wouldn't have taken it, but I understand why you did. That I understand. Oh. Okay, so we've also really ripped out of the Asia range, all right? So I can understand why everybody's feeling pretty bullish, and why that would happen, why you would long it. But remember that you got to just look at a couple of variables sometimes. One of the good things to practice when you're trading is to just look around and ask yourself, why wouldn't I take this trade? What is around here that would make me say no, all right? And again, these are the biggest levels I use every day, is the previous day's levels and my Asia range set up exactly like this, all right? Asia high, Asia low, my opening ranges, and then when New York opens, I'll paste that on as well. And then we'll just talk about that. Let me show you here that happened to me today on the NASDAQ as well, so you don't feel bad about yourself. All right, so here is, this is the trade I look for every day off of the London Open. All right, it happens 4 out of 5 days a week, and it usually plays out really nice. Today didn't play out that great, but it wasn't overly bad, all right? So price opens up, pushes up. We have a fair value gap here that you could already be looking for, all right? We leave a fair value gap. So the first thing I did was pull a fib level from here, and we've got a golden pocket right at the bottom of this fair value gap that it had left. But you see price comes down and just takes it and closes below that candle, all right? So I ignore that. Price then sweeps the low once again, the Asia low. All right, I pull another one and price comes up, hits into it, rejects, so I hop in. Now, this is not the ideal trade for me because we've had an open, we do an over, we do an under, and now we come back up. So there's already a little bit of me that's saying this is not a great trade. We've also got a double fair value gap here, right? So that adds more credibility to the trade. Golden pocket, double fair value gap. I hop in, but I know that I'm now looking to trade this down through the London opening range, and that is not an easy feat to accomplish. So out of this, I squeaked 5 points on one contract, and then the other 3 that I had open were closed out at break even. So at 1.75 points. All right, so it happens to all of us. Bruno West is bullish from Thursday. Bullish from Thursday. I'm pretty bullish, but I'd love to see a big drop on the NASDAQ today. Catch that run down to the gap. Let's see what New York does. So in that spirit, like this stuff doesn't always work, right? Nothing is 100% in trading, so you have to be ready for that. And the more things that you can spot that would say, no, this is probably not a great trade. Like honestly, that previous day's open would make it very tough for me. But if I did take it, which I wasn't watching that, I would have really been looking to get out of there pretty quickly, and I would have definitely reacted to this little situation here, which is price goes up, can't really hit it, and starts getting sold off there. All right, so if you're looking to scalp this stuff on the 1 minute chart, you've got to be able to get out of situations very quickly. You really want to take profit quickly too, right? If you're trading the 1 minute chart, it's about getting in, getting profit, and then getting out. Now, if you were looking to trade that, maybe to hold it for the day, you might want to look at maybe the 15-minute chart and then get your ideas from there, and then go down to the 1 minute and execute them there. Now let's just take a quick peek at the Bitcoin. I hope that helps AMZ viewer on. I'm just going to call you Crypto Yarp. All right. So Bitcoin making that push. It's making that push up. 3 more minutes until the open. Yeah, this gap, I love it. Not very often you see gaps on Bitcoin, but I do love it. Okay, got a little echo. I might need to surround myself with pillows and a blanket. Get rid of my little echo. And having said that, on the NASDAQ, right, that trade didn't work out that well. But then it gave you lots of other opportunities to get in here, right? So quick 5 points on one that didn't really go anywhere, and then hopped in on a few others. Now we're losing the Asia low. This gap, I suppose, will be filled soon, as it's not CME BTC. Yeah, it'll be filled. I wouldn't assume that it'll do it soon. And remember, it's only a 1 minute chart, so it's not like a CME gap. Yeah. Do you have a Discord now? Yeah, we got a Discord. The Discord link is right there. Our moderator slapped it up there. Yeah, it's Trading Academy Discord. I'm not looking at it right now because I'm looking at OBS and YouTube comments. I am technologically an idiot. All right, that is what I am. So hopefully by next week I will have this OBS and streaming thing figured out, and I can toggle between things a lot easier. Because as it stands right now, it is a absolutely monumental task for me. Because honestly, I'd rather be outside gardening than trying to figure out things on my computer, but it ain't happening. All right, Bitcoin making the push. Gotta go check out this New York Open candle now. Oof. New York is gonna dump this. Sweep done. So there's your London lows taken. Yeah. That they're gonna fill this gap. That would be insane. So what I'm gonna do here is wait for a little pullback. All right, could be a tiny pullback, and then for it to continue, and then I'd be getting in there like a dirty shirt. Oh, wow, New York playing dirty. Let's take a look. And Bitcoin is trying to make its way up here. Bitcoin's going to take the previous day's high. All right, here we go. Come on, Bitcoin, 2 all-time highs in a row, 2 days, 2 ATH. Let's go. It's getting a little timid up there at the top. Little timid at the top. All right, let's get back to the NASDAQ real quick here. Wow. So that's a pretty severe stop hunt if it was going for the London lows. Yeah. This is the brutality of streaming the New York Open. I really want to get in there, but I can't. Okay, so there we go. Retest the low. Let's see if she goes. That's a very nasty looking candle, but we are trying to clear this fair value gap here. Let's see if this can get back into the Asia range. If it can, then there's no reason why we don't finally go up top and have a crack at the Asia highs and sweep them up, as London was unable to do so. But if this turns around and breaks below here, I'd be all over that. Yeah. Like to see it retest that Asia. It's not really what I like to see. I'd like to see it push away and then come back. But that could be it. Take a quick peek here at what's going on in general. Yeah, this is going to dump. Look at that. NASDAQ is down 116 points off the bat. And your futures are still up 198 points from that gap. That's a bit of a discrepancy. Dixie, well, looks like it's trying to get up there. Bit of mixed bag on the coins, but doesn't look bad. So yeah, today might be a day to try to catch a short on the NASDAQ. See it go all the way down to that gap, especially if this trend continues on the actual NASDAQ. Wow. Come on, Bitcoin. Get at it. So if Bitcoin can break this, then likely we're not going to go down any lower than the, I would say, either the Asia range low or the previous day's close, but might want to do a quick reversal and stop out the Asias, but doesn't look like it. Does not look like it. Come on. Get her going. Take a peek here. Starting to get a little bit rounded here. Oof. Soul just dumping. Yeah. So would another thing I would say about the Soul situation is when I see that because this is really the way I kind of watch. Not watch, but it's the way I kind of understand how things work in the market. So when we take out the previous day's low, I'd be more than happy to get in on a long, all right? W formation, something of that nature. We don't really get too many good chances out of here, but out of the London Open, it wasn't overly difficult. You get that pull back onto the previous day's close, and you could look to trade it up to the Asia high and then get surprised maybe up to the previous day's open. But now that it's swept both, what I would rely on is market structure and market structure alone. I would just, as long as we're trending downwards, I'd be looking for the shorts, and then if we start trending upwards, make sure it's not a two-legged pullback, and then start to get in there. He's starting to stall out a little bit here. Yeah, here it goes. So there's the short right there. Be all over that. This could get extremely violent, extremely quick. Don't like the way that candle opened, but there, that's better. Put a little tail on it and then start to dump. Yeah, so it doesn't look like much, right? That's the killer of the NASDAQ. You think, oh, that's not much happening there. But as soon as you start kind of getting away from that, there's 8 quick points. You could have definitely had a nice scalp. And now we start to put some wicks into the bottom, so they're mixing it up here. It's a pretty massive opening range. Yeah, tough. It's a tough one. And this is also my favorite setup in the New York opening range, which is just a fair value gap. When New York opens, leaves a fair value gap, it'll usually come back, grab it real quick, and then dump. But I'm surprised it's not dumping. They might just be, just getting the suckers in, which would have been me for sure right there. I would have been one of those suckers. The old rope-a-dope. And that's about the only thing I'll trade on the NASDAQ on the New York Open. Generally, I stay the hell away from the New York Open. But so let's just take a quick peek here. There you go. Retested the Asia high now on Bitcoin. Huh. So this is going to be a very interesting low for them to target here. And we didn't sweep that previous day's high, so there's not much info that we're gleaning from that. Take a quick look at ETH. ETH just rolling around where it was already. The soul dump continuing. Yeah, this could get kind of ugly here today. All right. Still think we're gonna dump, but now we gotta catch it. Huh. So right now it's just kind of working its New York magic here in its own opening range. So let's check out Bitcoin, because that is definitely not, well, I shouldn't say definitely, but it's not. There's your opening New York range for the Bitcoin. They filled that 1 minute gap on BTC. Yeah, they did. Well, yeah, pretty much. 0.5 hit, I'm guessing. Hmm. That's gonna be maybe actually go up and try to hit that. See this? Okay, forget that. I'm a little more interested in this now. Back into the New York opening range. So got a nice little pool of liquidity here. Get that gap. Can we use this as confluence to long this gap? Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just a fair value gap, right? So if you're looking at that, it's just a gap that you would fill out like any other gap. All right, fair value gap, and then if you can, I mean, it looks reasonably like a golden pocket there. No, not quite. But you can definitely use, yeah, gaps are just fair value gaps, all right? So there we go, we've swept the high now. So that's a good sign. Doesn't mean we're gonna rip from here, but it's a really good sign for Bitcoin. We probably won't come down too low now today if we do pull back here. And up seems to be the direction. Okay, so one thing I would suggest is it's going to be really important how today closes now, all right? So if today closes within yesterday's range, then it's a bit of a either way sort of scenario, all right? If we close outside of the range, then you got to look for what gets which direction that it takes tomorrow off of the previous day's close, right, or off the daily open, all right? And that'll give you a lot of info of which direction it's going to move, and hopefully we do close outside of it. Pretty interesting. So now we got the 382 inside of this fair value gap. This is not a good fair value gap because it was a pretty big pullback into this candle. But it still might work its magic. We've got the New York opening range here, the 382. May I ask you, if we have two candles in a row without wicks, so they both fair value gaps, we can draw fair value gap on both of them? Or will it be two different? Yeah, if there's no wicks, it's just one gap, right? Like this guy's got a wick, so you would need to divvy that up. But if this had no wick here, then it would just be a gap from here to here. But this one does have a wick. There it goes, the bit's going. It's going. I would say you can use it as confluence. VWAP, Asia High, Gap, Fibs. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely can use it as confluence. It's a gap. Okay, so let's see if they can push this out here a little bit. Now, be cautious because this can definitely just come up here, do a little bit of consolidation and then break back down. But it does look really good. Can't believe these guys are breaking up on the futures. Wow. Okay, well, NASDAQ seems to be recouping some of that 100-point down business, but that's still... There's a 320-point discrepancy between NASDAQ futures and the NASDAQ right now. One other thing that happened is today was a contract rollover, so that sometimes will put a bit of a fork in things and volume will increase heavily on the futures. So that could potentially be what's going on there. Take a peek here. Oof. Well, now we can say we've had $108,000 Bitcoin. Oh yeah. Yeah, lovely. Oh, sorry about that. That was me hitting my finger on my desk. All right. Let me just check something out here real quick. Noise gate, no, I'm not going to touch it. All right, just took a trade, 618 on 1 hour Sol. All right, let me make sure I've got this happening here. Good. All right. On 3-minute chart was many late shorts in this area. This thing working good. Yeah, that doesn't look bad. Got some, I mean, we'd already swept out this liquidity here. Push down, grab these little lows, and then back up. Sold also at previous day's equilibrium, daily VWAP, weekly VWAP, previous day's VWAP. Whoa, VWAP central. Yeah, use that anchored VWAP, guys. It is a highly unutilized tool and very, very effective. and play with it. Don't you know, you could take it off opens. One of my favorite things to do with the VWAP is make channels with it. All right, so hop on a low. All right, and then price pushes away. You get a cute scalp there off it. Puts in another low and then starts moving. Then I draw on another one. And then you'll start to create these channels, these VWAP channels. All right, price comes back into it. You can look to trade off of it in whatever direction it goes, all right? And then as price moves away, you can just keep upping the lows, all right? So keep the original low if you wish, and then just keep moving it, all right? And it'll just create a bigger channel. You can even move this one along, all right? So you can just play with it. It is a great tool. All right, even if we try it from the top here. Right, pushes down, you get your hits off of it real quick for scalps. This is not a real massive pullback, but this is a pretty decent pullback here. All right, so now you've got your channel from the upside. Now that doesn't mean you got a short off of this, right? But if you did take this and you start to see it rejecting off here, you start to sort of understand why, right? Doesn't mean it's going to turn around, but this is an area of concern for you that if price can't seem to get above this, right? And again, use it with confluence. It's not a one, don't be a one trick pony. Yeah, SOL looking all right. And there you go, the pullback, and now Bitcoin looks like it might be ready to go. Volume's not great, but yeah, it's definitely not good. Nasdaq's going to be interesting at around 4 o'clock, I have a feeling. And I still think the dump is coming. Come on, Bitcoin. Let's see 110 G's. Would like to see how to set up and use the VWAP on VIP call. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, the VWAP. You can make it as complicated as you want. You can make it as simple as you want, but yeah, for sure. A lot of price action traders use the VWAP as their point of reference. So, for example, you've got your daily VWAP, right? So I'm not going to open up the actual VWAP because I've got a lot of stuff on mine and it'll just get a bit confusing. All right, so there's our VWAP, and you can use it as a mean reversion trading tool. All right, so look for reasons to short when you break away from it and trade back to the VWAP. You can use it as your mean to trade from. All right, so what the price action guys will do a lot of times is they will use lower time frame EMAs, and they'll get in based on where they are according to the VWAP, right? So now that you're trading above the VWAP, you're going to look for good price action reasons and some other tools. All right, so for example, you could use the 20 EMA. You could use the 9. Okay, so hit the VWAP. You have a recovery of the VWAP with a shaved top. Then you have a hammer candle with a shaved top all at the bottom of the move. So you can definitely look to trade that. Then you have a push up, shaved top, reclaiming the 20. You could use that, right? And then you trade it until you start to put in some weird market structure and start collapsing below the 20. All right, so right around there, that's your weird market structure. You close it out. price comes back into the VWAP, and then you just repeat, rinse and repeat, keep longing until there's no more longs to be had. All right. Yeah, some people will just trade off the VWAP like it's religiously has to hold, which I personally wouldn't do. Please show settings of VWAP. Once I add it, draw how it wants. Yeah, so if you're gonna add the VWAP, all right, so if you're gonna go into indicators and use the VWAP, it's gonna be different because it's gonna pull it off the daily open, and then it might have other features in it, right? So if you go to your toolbar here, all right, you've got the anchored VWAP, and this one you can just pull it anywhere you want. All right, you can put it wherever you want and just pull a VWAP. All right, see? And that one I just pulled at the beginning of the day. But we'll go over that in a VIP stream, no worries, man. But it's pretty simple stuff. If you, all right, we'll talk about it quickly, why not? Let me just make sure I'm not losing anything. All right, that's good. Okay, so let me get rid of this. Oh, that's a great answer from Zuluan. Zuluan says, check the learning zone. Yeah, that is the best thing to do. Oh, look at the bit. So here we rip. Come on, 110 G's, baby. I think we're headed there. I do believe we are headed there. Yeah, check it out, CryptoYark, and then if you have any questions, just ask. And we can also go over some more tricky VWAP stuff tomorrow evening, actually. We can incorporate it into everything we've been learning and go over that for sure. Come on now. You got this. Yeah, like you really do feel like that dump is inevitable. NASDAQ is now 104 points down again. Clawed its way back to, what was it, around 72 or so? And now it's looking like a nasty day here. DAX down 42 points. Nifty 50 down 330. Oof, Dow Jones down 192. Wow. See what big boys are dragging this down. Surprised Microsoft's not taking more of a beating yet, considering that China news. Uh-oh, Nvidia's down 3 3.33%. Dump is inevitable. So that'll be a great sign for Bitcoin too. If everything starts going down the way of the dodo bird and Bitcoin can hold, it'll be pretty nice. That Sol move's looking pretty good. Hate to see these candles, man. I know it's just a 1 minute chart, but seeing a hammer at the top of moves, you just start thinking trap longs. Trap longs. But hey, somebody's got to long the top of the move. This is also true. All right. All right, they're starting to kick it. Let me just get back at this here. All right, so it's 3 o'clock. We're breaking this range. I believe I'm going to have to get out of here and go enter some trades here on the NASDAQ. I feel like I've already missed it, but I might be able to catch it on here. I'm also gonna make myself a delicious espresso. Remember, guys, to smash that like button, please. You can join our Discord. All right, check out the link in there. Bruno West, hop on in there, hop on the Discord. We do a lot of live lounge sessions there. We're going to start doing a lot more of it on YouTube. But yeah, you're more than welcome. Very chilled out environment. And yeah, that is going to do it for today. Let's see if we can catch the retest here. I'm just going to watch this. Then I'll get in on another pullback, see if this holds. Here's fair value gap. We got another monster fair value gap here. All right, not gonna hold. So this is a teachable moment for fair value gaps. We got some nice push down here. So this is what you call a breakaway gap, all right? We've consolidated here. You get the breakaway gap, and then the next candle does a little pullback, leaves its own. So it's screaming, we're searching for liquidity, right? And there it is, it comes down, oops, grabs up that liquidity, comes back in, retests that fair value gap candle to the almost to the brink, and then comes the dump. So yeah, that's it, guys. I'm gonna go because I'm having like I said, I'm a techno idiot, so it's hard for me to grasp this OBS concept of where I can keep my screen just here and then I can go do other things. So unfortunately I can't trade and do this at the same time. So I'm gonna go and get some trades in. Tomorrow we will not be, no, we will. We'll do another New York Live, and hopefully my OBS skills will be a little bit better tomorrow, and maybe we can do some trading together as well. And that's about it, man. So you guys have a wonderful day. Be safe out there. What I would say is, Bitcoin's back below now. There it goes back into the New York opening range. All right. So it's not an overly bad thing here, but it could be that 2-pump New York sweep. But now if we look at this golden pocket, it's right at the base of this fair value gap. It's not a good fair value gap again. And it's right at the top of this one, which is a great fair value gap. Be aware of the 786 here. That might hold, and even the 886. All right, and again, this is a cute little origin candle for this big fair value gap. And you've got this order block here, all right? So be aware of all of them, all right? You don't have to hop into trades early. Here's an order block. All right, fair value gap, small fair value gap, bad fair value gap, all right? But and then again, we've got our previous days open here. And this New York range is going to be support now, right? And once we come back, if we come down here and turn around, it's gonna act as some resistance, all right? But don't be too afraid of it. It's just a little bit of a sticky spot, all right? So that is going to do it, guys. Thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow. New York live session, same time, all right? 2 o'clock. Take care. Have a great